Being Jackie is a stunning and inspirational nonfiction picture book about the life and style of the former First Lady and American icon Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis. This book is illustrated by Julia Dinos. I'm joined by its author, University of Miami professor, Margaret Cardillo. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, this is the second book you write about an icon who's very stylish. Why Jackie Kennedy Onassis?
Right. So my first book was about Audrey Hepburn, who, as you said, is an icon of style and grace and everything wonderful. And the idea had always been to do a little bit of a series on it, on iconic women, modern women. And Jackie just seemed like a very logical second book, a follow-up to the Audrey book, for different reasons, but kind of in that same ilk of iconic for various reasons, one being style, but also for strength and character and grace also. So
now you bring about fashion for this book, and it's a children's book. Do you think it's important to bring fashion at such a young age?
You know, the truth is that fashion takes up one page in the book. In the Audrey book and the Jackie book, they just happen to be women who had a very distinct style, right? So it's like the Audrey look and the Jackie look. Like, we know what that is. It became part of American lexicon. But the actual style of the fashion aspect of the book is very limited. It's much more about their lives and what they were like when they were children and young and formative, and then how that parlayed into what they became as adults and how they contributed to society and community as a whole and things like that. So it's actually a very small part. And the part in Audrey that has that, and Jackie, it's kind of like so secondary but complementary to who they are as character, who they are in their character, that I was okay with it.
Do you think that Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis changed the way that First Ladies act and dress?
So I think it changed. You know, she certainly is one of the most beloved of the First Ladies. So I think as far as being in the public eye, Jackie was actually a really private person. And anybody who knows, digs a little bit about her will know that. But I think though she seemed so comfortable in that role, she really craved, her private life and her privacy. But as far as her awareness of what it meant to be First Lady, her awareness of what a symbol meant in America, how to be an icon, that sort of thing, I think she really put a stamp on being First Lady that, yes, I think future First Ladies have certainly looked to. They may not have emulated it, but they certainly know that what she was able to accomplish. I mean, before her, the White House really was not a home, and she made it a home. She made it a place that people were really proud to be in. It had representations from every state, or as many states as she could. Glass from West Virginia, and she found the historical Hayes desk, and everything. She made it really significant, and she knew the importance of symbols. And then she also knew how to throw a really great party, and she was the first lady to bring musicians and poets and people who weren't politicians into the mix with politicians to make it. She was so involved with the arts and so believed in that culture that she wanted to make it a part of the White House and a part of what America stood for. And I think that future First Ladies probably look to that as well.
Absolutely. And do you think that children can be inspired by that?
I think absolutely. Children, and I have two of them, so I hope that they learn also the lessons that I would like for children to learn from this about the importance of art and the importance of culture and things like that, of grace and and there's a part of it that is just being a strong symbolic person that I hope that they learn. Even if what they come off as might not be that people can be more than their appearances.
Absolutely. Julia Dinos is the illustrator of this book. Very beautiful. How did this collaboration come to fruition?
So I was so fortunate. Julia Dinos did my Audrey Hepburn book, illustrated the Audrey Hepburn book, and it just blew me away. My editor sent me her website, and I was like, whatever it takes to get Julia to do this,
you
please.
Will take it.
I will take it. She is so talented, and I feel like when I saw Jackie for the first time, it just blew me away. I mean, she just stepped up her game in a whole new way, and it's gorgeous and evocative and beautiful, and I want to like live in her paintings.
Oh,
and you know, when you
wow.
feel that way about something, that means somebody really
Is doing something
yeah,
right.
they're doing something right. So
Now, you are a professor and you teach screenplay. How different is it to teach screenplay and be a book writer?
Right. So I was driving here and I was like, I just got out of class and I have to switch my mindset to writing. They complement each other much more than you'd think. You know, I started getting my MFA in writing, in fiction writing, and I switched, and I finished that, and then I got a second MFA in screenwriting to help my fiction writing. Little did I know I was going to totally fall in love with screenwriting and really want to work in that field, and it's kind of where my profession has taken me. But I think that when I wrote the Audrey book, I wrote it in 3 acts, and that's kind of how you can write a screenplay. And so they're complementary. Though I do, the trick is to turn on and off the idea of showing in a film and telling and showing in a book. You know, when I'm writing a screenplay, I'm like, I wish I could just explain this the way I would in a book. And when I'm writing the book, I'm like, I wish I could just show them an image instead of having to explain it. You know, so I do feel the best, the best of both worlds, and sometimes it can be a little tricky, but mostly they complement each other. And
what advice would you give to students who would like to start their writing career?
Oh, yeah. So, I always say 2 things. There's 2 things that you must do as a writer. One is read. All writers read, and they're good readers, and they read a lot. And what I mean by good readers is they read a lot. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be magazines. It could be newspapers, novels, any comic books. Just keep reading. And the more you read, the better you write. And the second thing is, to practice. And I always compare it to athletes. A professional basketball player will take, hundreds of jump shots because, they have to practice that muscle. Your brain is a muscle, and you have to practice. Take your 100 jump shots every day, and you'll get better at your writing, or 100 words every day, whatever it is, 100, whatever it is, sentences, and you'll get better at writing. I mean, it's all about exercising that muscle. Yeah.
That's right. Now, Margaret, thank you so much for joining us. Remember that the 35th Miami Book Fair begins Sunday, November 11, and ends with the Weekend Street Fair extravaganza beginning Friday, November 16th until Sunday, November 18th. This is an event for the entire family.